People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own soul. Carl Jung. Welcome back to Light and Shadow. I'm your host, JF, and today I'll be talking about how to recognize a female covert narcissist. Today, I'm shining a light on a personality type that is incredibly difficult to spot. Part 1, what I call gender expressions of covert narcissism. While covert narcissism has the same core traits, hidden grandiosity, extreme sensitivity, and lack of empathy, the way they are expressed often differs by gender due to societal conditioning. Male covert narcissists often use power, status, or passive aggressiveness to control others. Female covert narcissists typically rely on manipulation, guilt, and victimhood to draw in supply. Because both share the underlying vulnerability and introversion of covert narcissism, understanding their distinct gender-driven strategies can help identify them. Part 2, what I call beyond the confusion. When most people think of a narcissist, they picture a loud, bragging man. They think of someone demanding the spotlight. But there is another side to this coin. It lives in the shadows. It is the female covert narcissist. Unlike the loud, overt narcissist, the covert narcissist uses weaknesses instead of strength. She does not command the room. Instead, she plays the victim to control the room. She uses guilt, pity, and quiet manipulation to get exactly what she wants. Because her tactics are so quiet, you might live or work with one for years without realizing it. You just know that you always feel drained, confused, and somehow at fault. And now I'll be breaking down the major warning signs so that you can recognize the patterns and protect your peace. Sign 1, the professional victim. Let's start with her favorite weapon, the victim card. A standard narcissist says, I am the best. A covert female narcissist says, look how much I have suffered. She uses her pain to get attention and control. If she fails at a job, it is because her boss was jealous of her. If her friendships end, it is always because people betrayed her. She is never the problem. Think of this like an emotional parasite. She feeds on your sympathy. The innocent martyr, she will always do favors you didn't ask for. Then she'll complain about how hard she works for everyone. The blame shift. If you try to tell her that she hurt your feelings, the conversation flips instantly. Suddenly, you find yourself comforting her because she is crying about how hard she tries. And in the case of my ex, I have been told to grow a pair when I told her that I was not feeling emotionally safe with her. Weaponized tears. She uses sadness to stop you from holding her accountable. It is a shield that keeps anyone from criticizing her. If someone's life is a never-ending movie where they are the only good person surrounded by villains, pay attention. You might be dealing with a covert narcissist. Sign 2, passive-aggressive cruelty. The second major sign is how she handles anger. She rarely yells. Instead, she uses passive-aggressive behavior to punish you. She wants you to feel small, but she wants to keep her hands clean. If she insulted you openly, she would look like the bad guy. So she uses subtle methods. The backhanded compliment. She might say, I love how you just wear anything without caring what people think. It sounds like praise, but it leaves a sting. The silent treatment. This is her favorite punishment. She will suddenly stop talking to you. She won't tell you why. You are left guessing what you did wrong, which gives her total control. And if you question her, well, forget that. Smear campaigns. She won't fight you face to face. You won't even have a decent conversation face to face. Instead, she will whisper to your friends, family, and coworkers. She will act deeply worried about you while spreading lies that ruin your reputation. When you're around her, you will feel like you are walking on eggshells. You can't quite point to what she did wrong, but you feel judged and unsafe. Sign 3, what I call deep envy and the nice girl mask. This brings us to our third sign, or intense envy disguised as modesty. Covert narcissists are deeply jealous of others. They want beauty, wealth, praises, and status. But because they play the role of the humble, quiet person, they cannot admit this jealousy. Instead, they try to tear down anyone who has what they want. If a female covert narcissist sees a successful woman, she won't congratulate her. She will quietly hint that the woman used people to get to the top. If a friend gets engaged, she might subtly bring up the divorce rate. She also uses a hyper-moral mask. She often hides out in places where good people gather. You can find her leading volunteer groups, active in religious communities, or championing social causes, that which she cares nothing about. She doesn't do this to help. She does it for the praise. It gives her the perfect cover. After all, who would suspect a sweet, charitable volunteer of being a master manipulator? Part 3. What I call the smear campaigns and exhaustion. Why male victims go silent. Men stay silent after a relationship with a covert female narcissist, largely as a survival and self-preserving mechanism. Speaking out can result in further character assassination and psychological exhaustion. The reason men maintain the silence include fear of the smear campaign. Covert narcissists often play the victim in public while engaging in behind-the-scene manipulation. Men often stay silent, knowing that speaking their truth will be framed by the narcissist as bitterness or crazy behavior, leading mutual friends or employer to side against them. Incredulity and lack of proof. The abuse in these relationships typically happens behind closed doors because covert narcissists are highly charming and adept at maintaining a flawless public image. Men fear that the abuse is so subtle and insidious that others will not believe them, avoiding further conflict. Engaging with a narcissist post-breakup, whether through confrontation or legal disputes, often result in DARVO. Deny, attack, reverse, victim, and offender. Remaining radio silent is often the only way to escape the cycle of emotional turmoil. The toll of trauma bonding. Relationships with a covert narcissist leave men emotionally depleted and doubting their own reality. After enduring long-term manipulation, men often need to withdraw completely to process the trauma and rebuild their shattered self-esteem, protecting their privacy and children. Many men, especially in the context of co-parenting or shared workplace, chooses to keep their private lives out of the public, rather than feed into the narcissist's appetite for chaos and attention. Recognizing these dynamics is the first step towards healing. Connecting with mental health professionals who specializes in narcissistic abuse can be incredibly validating during the recovery process, and I can testify to that. So if you or someone is trying to navigate the aftermath of a covert narcissist relationship, you can help yourself or them by looking for strategies for maintaining strict no-contact boundaries, taking actionable ways to document and protect yourself against smear campaign, obtaining resources on how to rebuild self-trust and self-esteem. In conclusion, trust your gut. Recognizing a female covert narcissist requires you to look past her words and look at her actions and impacts. Do not look at her tears. Look at what happened after the tears. Does she get her way? Do not listen to her sweet tone. Look at her actions. Does she quietly isolate you from your friends and family? The biggest warning sign is actually how you feel. If you feel constantly confused, anxious, and guilty around a specific woman in your life, stop questioning your sanity. Trust your gut and just leave the relationship, and most importantly, do not look back. ever. The shadow only has power when it stays hidden. Once you see the pattern, the illusion breaks, and it is up to you to ensure that you put as much distance as possible, physically and emotionally, with this type of individual. And take my word for it, that's what I did, and that's what you need to do. I know sometimes it can be scary to think that somebody close to you can do that or can ruin your reputation, your image. You know what? Don't care about it. Just leave, never look back. All they are is low-life organism. Anyway, that's it for this story. If you have any questions about this, please reach out to me because I've lived through it. Maybe I'll be able to help you. So, what have you done this week to shine your light? Me, it's always about my podcast, the messages I answered, my neighbors. I help my neighbors a lot, as much as I can. I help people, even complete strangers. Like, it's a nice feeling to help someone. And it sometimes takes a second, 2 seconds, 10 seconds. It doesn't take much time at all. Even if I only reach one of you through this podcast and help one of you through this podcast, then my job is done. So again, thank you for walking through the light and shadow with me today. If this episode helped you understand a relationship in your life, please share it with someone who might need to hear it. Remember, you are worthy of peace, you are worthy of safety, and you are deeply loved. Until next time, take care of your heart and your soul. And as always, I wish you all love, light, and shadows. Until next week.